it's time to conquer another obstacle. So a few months ago, I shared my vision with you for a photography studio. And I basically want to found this studio by spring 2020. And I thought that it would be really fun to share the obstacles along the way, because a lot of us have dreams or wishes or goals that we set, and then we hit an obstacle, we really don't know how to overcome it, and then we just kind of forget about what our goal was. So I thought that this might be useful for people, even if you don't want to found your own photography studio. That's okay. You may find some principles in here that will help you with your own journey, whatever you're pursuing. So this particular obstacle is what do I go for studio location? Do I go for a storefront? So let's say downtown Belleville, a storefront there, or do I go for office space, maybe like a great big office room or something like that? And so there are pros and cons for both of them. First of all, the office space is way more affordable. I've seen some spaces come available, and I thought, wow, that's really affordable. And having an affordable place means that I really don't have to alter my pricing or anything like that. Everything gets to stay the same. Now, the downside is that in having office space, I may not get a whole lot of walk-by and drive-by exposure. And I do hope that the studio can work, as a bit of an advertisement for me, that, people walking by and driving by will go, oh, maybe I'll look into this. Maybe this is a photographer I want to hire, or maybe this is where I want to go and take classes. That's not first and foremost what the studio is about, but that would be one of the benefits of a storefront. So I would potentially lose visibility in advertising if I go with office space, even though it would be really, really affordable. And as long as it's a large enough office, I can fill my walls with photos, with my photos, with the photos from students who take my courses, and I would have space set up for doing headshots or doing studio portraits. And so a really large office space would work just fine. I think the biggest thing is I would kind of lose the visibility. So that would be the strong part of having, say, a storefront in downtown Belleville, is that everybody can walk by and drive by and see it. I'd be happy to have people just pop in and look at the photos, even if they're not interested in hiring me or coming to my classes, just to come in and enjoy my photography and the galleries that I'll have there for my students' work as well. I think that would be really neat. People just walk by and come in. And the downside is that it's really expensive to get a downtown storefront. Some are more affordable than others. Unfortunately, the ones that seem best are really expensive, and the ones that seem not so ideal, they're a lot more affordable. So that's what I'm wrestling with right now. I've not come to a conclusion. Definitely the office space is low risk. Unfortunately, low visibility as well. The storefront means I don't see how I'm going to be able to afford a storefront without one of two things: either substantially increasing the volume of work that I do, to bring in more money. The problem is I provide a service and I'm the only one who does it. It's not like I have 10 employees, not like I have photographers going around out there and working for me, and then I just need to get them more work so we bring in more money and we can pay the rent. It's just me. So I would have to go out there and work just to pay the rent. And you know what? I'm already doing that for the house I live in. I don't really want to do it for a studio as well. So then I could raise prices, but then I'm nervous that my prices will get high enough that a lot of people won't be able to afford me anymore, or just will decide it's too expensive. I'm not going to go with him as a photographer. I think that what I do and what a lot of photographers do in the Quinte area is worth every penny. I think that what we do as photographers is actually worth a lot more than what we charge. When you think about the things that we spend a lot of money on and we don't necessarily get a lot of value out of it, I think that that the photography we do is incredibly meaningful. I think it's very valuable. You know, from an emotional perspective, a sentimental perspective, what we do is obviously very valuable. And so I think, you know, any price tag is worth it. But, you know, unfortunately, people have their limits. People, you know, will just say, I'll go without photography rather than spend the money on it. So I don't want my prices to be higher just to pay for a studio. So that's the dilemma I've got right now. Do I go with a large office space, which would be affordable? Unfortunately, I'm going to lose a lot of visibility and a lot of, you know, drive-by and walk-by traffic and pop-ins and stuff. Or do I go with the storefront, you know, where I gain the visibility and whatnot, but it comes with a huge financial burden. So that's the obstacle. That's the next one I have to overcome. Some other obstacles I've overcome, like location. I'm pretty sure I'm settled on Belleville for a location. I could change my mind, but it's central. I was thinking Trenton, Belleville, or Prince Edward County. And Belleville is more or less central to Trenton and the county. And there's a lot of people in Belleville. If I go to Trenton, there's still a lot of people in Trenton, but I'm sort of further away from Belleville and the county, and so I'm leaning more towards Belleville. Also, I love the idea of using the Moira River for my classes. So I kind of want to be in the downtown core, whether it's an office space or a storefront, because I love how much we can do, whether it's portraits or landscapes or whatever it may be, with the Moira River area. There's so much that we can cover there, and even down to the waterfront. So I'm definitely working through those other obstacles, and now I've hit this one that I've got to figure out, and I'll give you an update later on when I do figure it out.